Food safety. So making sure that food is handled properly. One of the biggest things we can do for decreasing bacteria is washing our hands. So how long are you supposed to wash your hands? Does anybody know?
35. 20 seconds.
Yeah, you got the birthday song, right? 2 times. Yeah, you could. Yeah, minimally 20 seconds, and 30 seconds is even better. So, so you were saying 20, you said 30, and you said the happy birthday song, and those are all right answers. So, yeah, happy birthday song 2 times, and you're definitely got it whipped. Or the ABCs if you like that better. And if it's Friday, I always sing Happy Friday to myself. Okay, so another thing we want to know about food safety is about food poisoning, because food poisoning acts a lot like the flu. So you want to make sure you're not leaving food out too long. If you have food in your room, to not leave it out more than a couple of hours, because it starts growing bacteria, and then if it's not refrigerated and brought to a cold enough temperature where that bacteria will stop growing, it'll just keep growing. And a lot of times people think they have the flu and they actually have food poisoning. So food poisoning can make you feel achy just like the flu, and make you feel congested just like the flu. And so can food sensitivities. So if you're having a lot of problems with that, try changing your food habits and see if that goes away, because it causes inflammation in your body, so it causes that aches and pains.
Do you have to keep peanut butter in the refrigerator? Can you leave it? I always left it on the shelf.
It depends, because some peanut butter needs to go in the refrigerator. Look on the jar. So if it says on the jar, all the natural ones need to go in the refrigerator that I've seen, if they're natural with no preservatives. And then some of the ones that have preservatives in them can sit on the shelf. So it depends on the peanut butter you have. But if you look on the jar, it'll tell you.
Well, how do you know? You
have to look on, look on the jar. Yep, it'll say usually around the top of the jar, an easy to find place where it needs to be refrigerated. So real important. Make sure you're keeping your refrigerator clean and your counters clean, because that also are good places where bacteria grow. People worry more about bathrooms and bacteria, but we have more problems and illness caused in our kitchens than we ever do in our bathrooms. So really important to keep our kitchens clean. And salt and sodium. So one of the things I want to say about salt and sodium is, if we're eating all natural diets, probably none of us would have to worry about salt at all, even if we were putting a little salt on our food on the table. But the problem is that with processed foods and the foods that we get out of cans and packages, they have a lot of sodium in it, so we get a lot more sodium than we ever did in the foods that we eat. Or if you're eating out in a restaurant, they usually have a lot of sodium. So then it makes it hard to put more sodium on your food, because then you're getting way too much. So some people do better with salt than others. Some people can eat salt and not have high blood pressure or not get swelling, and other people just have to look at the shaker and they're swelling. So that again is going to be just your discretion on how much you can use. And then activity. Just want to say something about activity, because that's one other thing that we can do to help keep ourselves healthy, and keeping ourselves moving is just really important, for flexibility and to keep that mobility. So you want to make sure you're walking every day, and based on, what your doctor has talked to you about your activity level and what you've, been approved to do. You want to be able to do the most you can each day, because it'll help keep you flexible. And things like stretching and yoga, that'll help keep your joints flexible and keep pain down from arthritis. So I don't know if any of you are interested in yoga, but they have some mild yoga you can do in a chair. You do yoga here? Oh, great. That's great to hear.
Sitting yoga.
Yeah. So I recommend that to everybody. If you haven't tried it, I had one client who he had not walked. He was not an old man. He was just in his late 50s. But he had so much immobility from arthritis that he had not really walked more than 20 feet in years. And he started doing yoga a couple times a week. He hired somebody to just, privately train him with yoga. And within 6 months, he said he could go grocery shopping normally again. And he started feeling like he could live a normal life. So I recommend stretching and yoga, or anything you can do to get yourself moving. Helps your bowels move. It helps your metabolism flow. It's going to increase your energy. The more you move, the more you'll want to move. So, Oh, and one important thing is whenever you're making changes in your life, instead of beating yourself down when you're not perfect, one of the best things you can do is to build yourself up and appreciate the changes you've made. Because if you've made changes in your diet or changes in your exercise, we all get off track. So the main thing to know is what is on track for you. What is it? What are the goals you want to meet? And when you get off track and you eat that piece of cake, or you just decided to lay around and not do any exercise that day, instead of criticizing yourself, just get back up, and the next day just do it again. Say, well, you know what? This time, 2 weeks, I followed my diet and my exercise was good, and one day I didn't do so good, but it's 5 days longer than I did it last time. That's great improvement, and that's the way we all improve. It's normal to improve that way. We all fall off track. Nobody's perfect. We're all human.